Shalom Aleichem. Mishnah Yomi continues in chapter 15 of Yevamot at Mishnah Dalet. Number 4, Hakol ne'amanin leha'ida. Everybody is believed to testify for her, to come and say that her husband has passed away, which will allow her to get married. So we see it's not just the woman herself, but it's anyone is believed, as we said in chapter 10. Even one person, even if the person's not normally qualified to give eyewitness testimony in court, we would allow her to rely on it. As we said in chapter 10, it's not really just the one person we rely on, that before a woman gets remarried, since the consequences are very harsh if her husband was alive, she'll do her own investigation. She'll look into the background of this person who's coming to give this testimony, if it's only one person, before she goes ahead and gets remarried. So anyone is believed chutz, but there are exceptions, except mechamosa, her mother-in-law, bat chamota, her sister-in-law, tzarata, a co-wife, if her husband had a second wife, the yevimta, or her yevama, meaning her sister-in-law, basically. The wife of her husband's brother could, in theory, become her co-wife if either of their husbands pass away, bat bala, and the daughter of her husband's, from another mother, obviously. So these women might have a certain animosity or have, want to scheme or manipulate the situation to, not allow this woman to remain married to her dear son or brother or whatever it is. So they might want to, foment a situation where this woman goes ahead and gets remarried, and then it ruins the original marriage. It turns out he's still alive. Now the Mishnah asks, Ma bein get lamita. What's the difference between a get and a death? Now, by a get, a divorce document, we trust these women. If these women show up in court holding a divorce, signed by witnesses, a documented, valid divorce, we believe them that this is the divorce given by the husband and being sent with them as a messenger to deliver to the wife. So what's the difference? Shekatav mochiach. They're the writing of the get, which of course is signed by witnesses. This proves that it's actually a divorce. Whereas if the mother-in-law comes and testifies, oh, my poor son passed away, wink, wink, you're free to remarry, wink, wink, we might not believe the mother-in-law in that situation. Now, the Mishnah turns back to the topic of edut, of testimony. Eid omer, one witness says, met, the husband passed away, v'niset, and she gets married, or even if she gets permission from the court to go ahead and remarry based on this one person, uva acher, and then afterwards, another person comes, one person, and ve'amar lo met, and he says he didn't die. Harei zu, behold this woman lo taitse. She doesn't have to go out, meaning she doesn't have to get divorced, and she also doesn't go out of the heter, of the permission that the court already gave her. So she could go ahead and get married because this special ne'emanis, this special degree of trustworthiness is only for a single witness who says the husband actually passed away, not for a later witness who comes and then contradicts that. But the Mishnah contrasts with the next case. Eid omer met, one person came, said the husband died. Ushnayim omrim lo met, but then two witnesses came and said he didn't pass away. Now, the Bartner says we're all talking about witnesses who are normally not necessarily accepted in court as valid, qualified, fully kosher witnesses. But again, we have one against two, even if they're not normally qualified. Afal pisha niseit. So even if the woman actually got remarried, teitze, she has to leave that second marriage, or she would, teitze could also mean she leaves the status of being permitted to marry if she hadn't yet married. And finally, shnayim omri met, two people, even people who are not normally accepted as witnesses, omrim, they said, met, that the husband died, ve'eid echad omer lo met, and one person then came and said he didn't. Afal pi shelo niseit, even if she didn't yet get remarried, tinase, she may get married, because it's two people testifying to the husband's untimely death, and only one contradiction. Let's go on to Mishnah Hey. Achat omeret met, one woman says he died, achat omeret lo met, another woman says he didn't die. Now, Bartnura and the Gemara, they explain we're talking about two wives of the same man. So this Mishnah is kind of amazing. It's really amazing here. Zo she'omeret met, the widow who says he died, tinaseh, she can get remarried, v'tito kedivota, and she can get the marriage contract money. V'zo she'omeret lo met, and the woman who says he didn't die is still alive, lo tinaseh, she certainly cannot get married, lo tito kedivota, and certainly cannot get the money. The Gemara explains that even in a case where the second one later retracts and says, you know what, I was just trying to mess up my co-wife and say he hadn't died, so she'd be stuck. Even so, we say she's kind of trapped by her own words. Now, the Mishnah goes on with a variation of this theme. Achat omeret met, achat omeret neharag. One widow, one of the co-wives, says he died naturally, and the other one says he was murdered or killed in a battle. Rabbi Meir says, since they contradict one to another, neither of these women can get married. It must be someone here is lying. Rabbi Yehuda, Rabbi Shimon omrim, but Rabbi Yehuda and Rabbi Shimon, they disagree. They say, hoel vizo modot, because both of them agree, she'enu kayim, that lamaisa, one way or another, the husband has passed away. Yinosu, they can both get remarried, even though certainly one of them is wrong about the manner in which the husband actually passed away. Now the Mishnah comes back to testimony given by other people, not the woman herself. Eidomer met, one witness says the husband died, Eidomer lo met. And another witness comes and says he didn't die, and this is before she was given the permission slip to remarry. Or Isha omeret met, Isha omeret lo met. Or a single woman comes and says he died, and another woman says he did not die. Harezo lo tenase. This wife, who might be a widow, she cannot get remarried based on this. Now, this is in distinction to the previous Mishnah where we said if there was reliable testimony from one person and the court gave her permission and then someone else came afterwards, that wouldn't affect her heter, her ability to get remarried. But here the contradictory testimony has come before she was given permission to remarry.